you hear almost two messages as well from the vice president there. In the first clip you show, talking about the reason we need it is for international security, for peacekeeping efforts. But then in that last clip, he's talking about the Greenlandic people and how the Danes haven't been treating them very well. And so it's almost like, which one is it? Obviously, we know it is more about international security as Russia and China are building up their presence in the Atlantic. But I think it's fascinating to try to have this kind of approach as well, to act like, America is the savior of Greenland and helping save them from the Danes who aren't treating them well, which, some people might say is true. But every report so far we've seen with polling shows that the Greenlandic people don't want to be acquired by the US. And this is where I think, you know, Trump could go in his negotiating power and make people fall in love with him and say, yeah, we actually really need you. You're going to bring a lot of greatness to Greenland. And, it's also fascinating to me that he hasn't tried to broker some kind of deal like he did with Ukraine to mine rare earth minerals, because that's another reason he's saying he wants it. So why not instead of acquiring, which seems off the table right now, why not build up that relationship, and maybe it would end in an acquisition, instead of this approach where it seems like you're forcing yourself into someone's house and they're like, we don't want you, we don't want you, we
Right.
don't want you. And I think that on the world stage, you see this kind of with Canada. It's having this unintended consequence where America is getting this reputation of, people wearing shirts there, leave us alone. We don't want the Yanks, all this stuff. So it'll be, to me, Trump knows oftentimes what he's doing with his strategy, but this seems like a different strategy to me, where why aren't you using your strong negotiating power and just trying to strong arm yourself in? We'll see if they break. And I think that's what they want. But so far, it doesn't seem like there's signs of that.
Rich, what do you think of the policy such as it is?
Well, we don't quite know what it is, right? And I think there could be a pivot here. This is very often part of a Trump negotiation strategy, right? You go in really hard, really threatening, and then you turn around and you say, let's make a deal. And I would imagine, right now, tomorrow, next week, if the Trump administration just went to the Danes and say, you know what, okay, let's just work something out, they'd get everything they want. Short, I think, of sovereignty over Greenland. That's probably off the table unless we're really, really going to push it. And I'm just not sure how much advantage we would get, what the delta would be between having all of it and just getting the Danes to give us any base we want, any guarantees that other countries will have nothing to do with it, mineral rights and all the rest of it. I think all that is there for the taking. But if we were actually to annex Greenland, you're potentially talking about blowing up the Western alliance for not a huge amount of upside that I can see. But this visit got everyone's attention.